any bacterial infection that you get an exposure to, what happens is your body produces immune cells against it. It produces antibodies against the bacteria. We call the bacteria the antigen, or the invading parasite is called the antigen. So now the body produces antibodies to fight it. Antibodies are your immune system, so that you can actually fight this invading parasite. Now, this microorganism can end up overwhelming the immune system. They overwhelm the immune system because it's the first exposure, right? So we might end up, the body will not fight it that much. So you'll end up getting overwhelmed, and now you'll need an antibiotic. So, okay, the first exposure, take levofloxacin or ciprofloxacin or cefuroxime, whichever antibiotic you want to take, or the augmentin, so that you get better. But your immune system is very clever. It keeps a memory of that microorganism. Those antibodies have a memory for this microorganism, so that the next time you get an exposure to typhoid or to brucellosis, your immune system destroys them. That tells you, once you get one exposure to a microorganism, your immune system already has a memory and it has the ability to fight it. And also remember that the role of antibiotics is not to cure the bacteria or to destroy them. The role of the antibiotics is supposed to lower the bacterial load to a certain level that your immune system can actually take over. Underline, the immune system takes over. So most of you are always relying on antibiotics to do everything. That's how you end up having a very weak immune system. Because antibiotics are supposed to just help the immune system, just lower a little bit, and then the immune system takes over. Are we getting that? So concentrate on strengthening your immune system. So once it keeps the memory, it means in your system there will always be antibodies against typhoid, antibodies against brucellosis. They are circulating. Now, if you ever go to a hospital to do a typhoid test, and the test that is done is a Wiedel test, please ask the lab technician, what is the principle behind a Wiedel test? Some of these tests were actually taken out because of the uselessness in them. If you want to do a typhoid test, please do a typhoid antigen test, the stool test. You'll get your result because it goes for the antigen of typhoid. But imagine taking a test like Wiedel that actually detects the antibodies against typhoid in your blood. So you take a blood sample, and whatever you're doing is you're introducing this blood sample on a slide and then introducing the typhoid antigen to the antibody, so that if you see the agglutination, the clotting, you realize this guy is suffering from typhoid, or this blood is contaminated with typhoid. But that test is not testing the antigen. That test is testing the antibodies. And I've already told you that immediately you get first exposure to typhoid, you will retain antibodies, so that it keeps the memory that that bacteria, I know it, I'll destroy it next time it comes here. So in your sane mind, in your common sense, tell me, how are Wiedel tests going to change people's life? How are they going to be used to detect typhoid? Yet all of us, at some point, we had an exposure to typhoid. So in our system, we have antibodies against typhoid, naturally. So can we save money on that one? Hello? Can we save money? Let's do the antigen test instead of the Wiedel test. It's an antibody test. We all have antibodies in our system, because if we had an exposure to typhoid or brucellosis, we already have the antibodies. Scam number one. And you are scammed because you don't read. Same to the Brucella antibody test. We've had exposure to brucellosis, we've kept the memory, we've produced antibodies against brucellosis, so they are there in our system already. They are just waiting for Brucella to come in, they target it. And now you go to hospital, you have a diarrhea, or you have these weak bones and weak joints and all that, and malaise and fever, and somebody's taking your blood to take a Brucella antibody test, yet you have the antibodies. What do you expect? Hello? What are we expecting in that test? Is it going to turn negative or positive? Yeah? If you're taking an antibody test and yet you have antibodies in your system already, what is that test going to turn? Positive or negative? Wacha tuone wasomi, wacha tuone malab technicians hapa.